Good morning everyone, you are joining us here at a very sunny Off-Grid Power Solutions because the van is having more upgrades. That's right, we're down here again and I'm going to go and have a chat with Sarah. She's going to tell us exactly what's going on with the van because it's here again. It's here again. Why is it here again? It's not gone wrong, has it?
Absolutely not. So we're here today for a Maxxfan to be fitted above the bed in place of the Remus or Remus, however you want to pronounce it, normal window with blind. And because the Maxxfan would cause some shading, Mr. Perfectionist, who's behind the camera at the moment, is having the singular large flexi panel, solar panel removed off the roof. And then we're having 4 separate ones fitted instead to try and maximise the amount of solar that we can get and prevent that shading. So I think we're going to be here for a long day today.
Well, Roger's in there already tackling the roof light. He's started to take things apart, take things off, look and see where we're going to get the power from and everything to be able to power the Maxxfan and stuff. So we'll just document it as we go through the day, as we did before with all of the electrical install and everything. But hopefully a good set of upgrades today. So if you've ever wondered how the shade fits on the roof light which comes in the Sven, it sits on these balls here and that's all of the inner workings of it you can see. So taking it out, it's actually pretty straightforward. Undo all of these. Obviously it's sealed in, needs to come off, all cleaned up before the Maxxfan goes in. But this here is the shade. So the roller blinds and everything are all in here. That's where the winding handle is and stuff. So if you've ever got any creaks or anything in it, plenty of opportunity to put a load of felt tape and stuff on that if you need to. Now, because the Maxxfan needs power, because obviously it's an electric fan, what Roger's looking at doing is using some power from the lights in the cupboard, which means inside the cupboard here, this is a false floor, and he's going to lift that false floor up to access the power which is underneath there, run it across and down, and hopefully that will give us what we need. Now, one of the little jobs before the Maxxfan gets offered up to the van is to fit this, and it's a full seal. It's actually a proper Maxxair product, but it's for the EU and UK markets. You're supposed to leave these vented, so they basically leave some of the normal seal that you would get on a USA version of this out. So this one here is that seal to make it fully sealed. Now, clearly they do that so that if you're using gas and stuff in the van, you don't end up with any poisoning and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, we're very careful about that kind of thing and make sure that we vent it ourselves. So we don't really want it to whistle and make too much noise as we drive along. So we're going to fit one of these in it. So easier to do that on the bench over there before it goes on top of the van, rather than have to struggle up there. So yeah, let's go on with that. So there you go then, that is the Maxxfan taken apart. So you had to just release these couple of legs from the lid here, and they sit in these little plastic grommets. And then to fit this seal, this is what you get as standard. So these come off and then the seal goes all the way around the edge there, and it's not that complicated a piece of rubber really, is it? It's just just pretty straightforward, but you do have to just put it all the way around just like that. So this just gives you a bit of an idea of what we're working with on the top of the roof. So obviously this is what's coming out, so all of this needs to be removed, cleaned up and everything, and then obviously the new one mounted, sealed in. This flexi panel at the back is 115 watt flexi panel. All of that coming off, cleaned up, and then the new panels, we've got 2 60 watt panels. We're thinking probably one over there and one over here, and then we've got 2 20 watt panels, which they're about the same size as this skylight here for the bathroom. We're thinking probably one there maybe, and then another at the back here, but we just need to probably lay them out on the roof once we've fitted the Maxxfan, because that will then kind of let us understand where we're going to get shading and where we wouldn't. But you saw on the Maxxfan that it's got quite an overhang at the back, so when the lid of it comes down, ends up covering up some of this panel, and then obviously that means that you're really not going to get much solar from it whatsoever. So adding the other ones in is really going to help. Not much roof space left on the van, I have to say. When we've got the awning on here, obviously that's the bathroom skylight, got the front Hecky roof light, obviously 115 watt Victron fixed panel there, obviously got our 5G antenna there, a little bit of space in front of all of that, but yeah, it's really getting tight up here. There we go then, all done, all prepped, and new seal in place. Used a bit of contact adhesive just to hold it in place, and then obviously when that goes back into the lid and it's screwed shut, that'll help just set that while it's being fitted to the van as well. So hopefully that should mean that we don't get any extra noise in the van from the wind.
There's a layer of mastic here with the form that sits on top of it that caters for the corrugations on the roof. And then you've got another layer of mastic here that holds the blind down. Now, if you're lucky, you can lift this very carefully and slowly so that you leave the bottom one in place. If you happen to lift the bottom one out by mistake, or if it delaminates, you have no choice but to completely remove it, and then you've got the choice of whether this is still usable or whether you build up underneath with Cycloflex. And the bottom is delaminating, unfortunately, but anyway. When you get to this point, you have to be careful that you don't actually bend the metal.
Okay.
So you pull it away like this a little bit, and that stops the roof from bending. If you're unlucky, when you part these two, then these bits stretch quite a lot, and you have to decide whether you've compromised the whole thing enough that you actually don't use it, and instead you'll build the bottom up with Cycloflex, which does work fine. You just use a lot of Cycloflex.
So after a bit of work, this here is the roof adapter. So you can see it's, if I turn it over, you can see it's got ridges in it just here, which correspond to the roof of the van. You saw this come off. It's all been cleaned up so we can reuse this. It's a rubber, so this is going to get Sikaflexed onto the roof of the van. This is the bottom side, so it will go on like that, and then this is the underside of the Maxxfan. So again, Sikaflex on here, Sikaflex to the top of here, and it's good to go. So we think probably best to take this panel off while the new Maxxfan isn't in place. It's going to be toast though, unfortunately, because you have to kind of fold up the panel as you're doing it. So unfortunately, this quite nice NDS panel from Dometic, it's going to be in the bin. There it is then, it's off, and there's no way that was coming off the top of the van, was there? Look at the amount on that. So we're just trial fitting that gasket, make sure it still fits as it should do, which it certainly does. Ready to be sealed on, and then the fan to go on top, just so it can sit there and start to set.
Okay, ready? Yeah.
Now I'm not sure who's got the most important job here, because Sam is on the roof duty, dropping the fan in. Roger's on guiding it in.
Have you got it the correct way? Yeah. That's the correct way. Okay. Good so far.
So next job is to figure out where we're putting all of these extra solar panels to replace the flexi panel. I think we're there with that. So we've got a 60 and a 60. We've got a 20 and another 20 just poking around the back there that you can see. And that is going to replace that 115 watt panel that we had before. Now we're going to use these connectors here, these MC4 connectors, which means we've got 4 panels going into one connector, which means that we're running these in parallel. We're going to do that because they're pretty equal in voltage. So we've got these panels are 18.6 volt, those small panels are 18 volt. What that means is we're not going to lose much power at all by doing these in parallel, but it does mean that from a shading point of view, if we're going to get any shading because we've got the Maxxfan open or the sun's coming over the awning or anything like that, it means that the other panels will still be giving out as much power as they can. So that to me sounds like the best option. Obviously we've still got our 115 watt Victron panel there, which we're going to leave well alone. It's just these 4 that we're going to be mounting. So although it's not going to look the tidiest on the roof because lots of cabling going on and everything else, needs must because we've got 4 panels, but this hopefully should at least give us as much as we had before with that 115 watt panel. So right, these aren't connected, they're just laid on the roof. So now I've got to let Roger do his stuff, clean the roof up, get these all stuck onto the roof, get them all terminated properly. He's going to shorten some of the cables and stuff, get it all wired in. So let's have a look and see what we're up to in here then. Lots of wires hanging out the ceiling, which is good. And in here, just a very small cable that feeds down. So they're feeding off all of the power for all of the lights and everything here for the Maxxfan. Obviously that's the power feed for that. Maxxfan in. Just working on where they're going to get power now for all of the socket and everything that we wanted, which is a 12 volt socket just in the back. So looking at all of the power for the pop out and everything, just going to see what we can do in there. So we're getting really close up here now as well. We've got, I think, 3 of the panels installed. Just looking at the 4th one over the back there. Started to clip all of the cables into the right places and all that stuff. I'll tell you what, fitting the socket for the back, the 12 volt socket, has been a bit more of a pain than anybody thought it was going to be. So let me show you where we're running the cables. So everything's been taken out in here. So we've got sockets hanging out, we've got the flooring up and all that kind of stuff, because essentially what we're going to do, scrap the idea of using the pop out and all that kind of stuff. We're going to go from under the seat in here where we've got a fuse, proper 12 volt new power line to that socket, so we're not messing about. It's going underneath the bench seat, round through the other side where the toilet cassette goes. I'll show you that in a second. And then that then fishes through to where we're going to put the socket next to the gas tank, so it's facing into the boot. Let me show you. So it took us a little bit of doing to get this right, but in here, toilet cassette out, we managed to find that just through there. So that's where that green nylon wire goes, and then just down through here is the route that we're going to take the cable. So it's going to come up here, come down here, round here, and then straight into the boot area. And what that means is that we are going to end up with a socket about there is where we're going to put it, because that should hopefully then give us the flexibility to be able to run our little freezer or anything we need to here in the boot. Right, Roger's putting the finishing touches to the fan inside then, and because we've got this cover, so this cover's going on it as well. This is the one with the LEDs and all that kind of stuff, and the roller blind. There's a couple of different bits which have gone on there. So you've got the main inner part, which is just the plastic trim, which makes it kind of covers up all of the wood and all the mounting and everything else. Then you've got this extra bit which is hanging down. That's the bit, when that's screwed up to the other bit, it means that this shade can go on, so this blind and these LEDs. So Roger tells me, and he's fitted hundreds of these, so he knows you have to leave the wires outside of the frames when you're bolting this up, because when you pop this on, obviously this needs wiring up, it's got cables and everything else inside. You wire all of that lot up into here, and then this pushes up into that groove which is on that one. So first things first, you've got to screw that up, make sure that's nice and flush and tight and everything. Then there's a bit of wiring to do, and we are going to fit an LED dimmer to this as well, a remote control LED dimmer, because these LEDs in this are actually quite bright and be way too bright to use over the bed. So we're going to fit an LED dimmer at the same time. So let's finish this job off. So this is the little LED controller. There's very, very small, just heat shrunk like that. I think bought two of these from Amazon, I think it was, and they can only come in packs of 2, and it was about £5 for 2, including 2 remotes. It was ridiculously cheap. And all we do is we just connect it to these. Got to remember with a Maxxfan, black is positive, and then the white is the negative here. So when connecting this up, obviously it's got the traditional black and red. Just going to connect these up properly rather than my quick testing. And then it's going up there. Well, the fact that we're looking at a couple of remotes means it's working. So although we've got to change this over to Celsius, if I press this button here, this is the one that opens it up, and you can see we're away. And this one here, which is the little remote for the LEDs, if I press the on button, you can see we've got that, and we can dim them down. Got presets on here for different temperatures. You can turn them off as well. I think that is a job well done. Now, all we've got to do is finish off the solar on the roof. It's almost there. All the panels are bonded on and everything. Just got to finish off the final bits which connect them into the solar controller underneath the driver's seat. And then we've got to finish off this 12-volt socket. So we're just connecting all of these panels up to the original wiring that we had for that NDS panel at the back. Roger's just making sure all these are lovely and waterproof. And then, yeah, you can see we've got the 4-into-1 adapters just here, all ready to go. They're going to get held down to the roof on here. Some little bits of trunking and other few bits and bobs which have all gone on. Keep it nice and neat up here. Yeah, I think we're almost there. So there we go then. That is all sorted now. All the new panels on, all of this lot all down. All we've got left to do, once these little plastic stays have set, they're Sikaflexed on, we're just going to cable tie these in place a little bit. So there's one there, there's one underneath this cable here, there's one over the back here for this cable, obviously there's one there for that cable just to secure all that. We're just going to settle those up, zip tie those down once the Sikaflex is set. I'll do that when I get home. So why have we bothered putting all this stuff in the van then?
But the Maxxfan in particular, I think,
Maxxfan
we're
in particular,
talking about,
yeah.
aren't we? So I think for those of you been following the channel for some time, you know that we've talked quite a lot previously about condensation, how to go about winter camping, trying to reduce that condensation, particularly a problem when you're using hot water and cooking and things like that.
Showers and stuff.
Showers.
Yeah.
And over winter, you just wake up in the morning, 2 bodies, well, plus a dog, she's full of condensation, sleeping, breathing and making it all soggy inside, basically. So it's part of the strategy that we think might help to reduce that.
Definitely.
Because the Maxxfans you can reduce on, you can work on either air coming in, or you can have it on an extract function, and you can also have it open when it's raining too.
You can.
Which is a bonus, obviously, to keep things a little bit drier. And it's a properly installed fan for when it's warm. In the summer too, rather than having to trying to hook some kind of USB fan hanging from something somewhere in the bedroom in the hope that it will keep going and the battery will last for long enough to keep you cool overnight as well. So for all of those reasons, we've been really intrigued about one, and we've never heard anybody say a bad thing about one actually when they've had them installed.
Not at all. No, I think it should work really well. And I think when I was talking to Rog about how he uses his, he said that normal kind of camping where it's not super hot or anything like that, he tends to have it on extract at about 30%, because he says that it's nice and quiet and it just basically makes all of the condensation kind of go out of the van above the bed and stuff. So that's good. He said if it's a hot day, You have it so that the air comes into the van, and obviously you can turn it up as much as you like then, depending on how hot it is and what kind of airflow that you want over you on a hot night. So yeah, looking forward to trying it. I think tonight, as we stay over here again, it's probably going to get down to 12, 13 degrees overnight. It might rain, might be a bit damp. It's going to be useful to probably have it on extract 30%, like Roger says.
Give it a
Let's
go,
give it a
can't
go.
we?
We'll leave it open,
Yeah.
and hopefully we won't get wet.
And at the moment, we're using our Project Camper internal screen covers, so the windscreen and the 2 front windows.
Yeah.
It's fairly safe to say it was pretty foggy this morning when we took those off. We'd had 2 showers,
Yep.
a couple of cups of tea, some coffee, and obviously we'd slept in there overnight with the dog as well.
Yeah.
So
It was pretty
I
dense
suspect,
condensation.
well, and it chucked it down all night. It was a pretty rough night, to be honest. We've got nice blue sky today. So we've got hopefully a fairly consistent thing that we can check it out over between the 2 fairly similar nights we expect to be. So
Yeah.
give it
so
a try.
Fingers crossed. It's all done.
It is, finally.
Finally, yes.
Well, I say finally, I don't think it really took
No,
that long.
It's not
did
like
it?
it's not like they were hanging about, was
No.
it, or dawdling? So we got here. Well, we were obviously here last night. We stayed over. That gave us time to get ready and everything ready for an 8 o'clock start this morning. Doors were open at 8.
Yep.
Van straight in, and they've worked non-stop until, well, it's just about 5 o'clock.
It is.
So full on day. They don't mess about, and it's finished. So we've got a Maxxfan now. All of the LEDs inside for the Maxxfan and everything. We've got a little remote, all dim, all nice, and everything else. That's really cool. We've also got a 12-volt socket in the garage at the back.
Yep.
So if we want to take that massive EcoFlow fridge freezer with us, we've finally got somewhere we can plug it in without having to trail a big cable through the van. Quite why Westfalia don't put a 12-volt socket in the boot, I don't know.
Or even that little Dometic fridge
Yeah.
freezer that we bought as well,
That's
if
true.
we don't want it sitting between the seats for any reason.
That
So
is
yeah,
true.
that can go there too.
That is true. And we've got a ton of new solar on the roof.
We do, well, how much more does it actually give us? Because there's a lot
Yeah.
more panels, but not a huge amount more wattage. Is
So
there?
that's a good question. One 115 watt panel came off.
115, 115.
115, yes.
Yeah.
And we've now got 160 in its place.
Okay.
Plus the 115 watt of Victron panel. So
That we already had,
what we
that's
already
left in
had.
place. Yeah.
So 115 came off, 160 went on in
Yeah.
4 panels that you've seen on the roof. It's quite a complicated setup on the roof.
Mm.
But if you want a Maxxfan on one of these vans, because of the way that it comes down and it's got an overhang at the back, it was going to shade our panel, and therefore it just makes it useless. So
Can't have shading, although
have
I'd really
shading.
quite like some at the moment.
So if you're thinking about buying a Westfalia Sven Hedin and you're thinking about having a Maxxfan fitted to it, just watch what solar you have fitted at the back of the van, because you might end up ripping it off and having to replace it like we have. 'Cause
That's
when you
very
take,
sad.
It is sad, because when you
Yeah.
take that panel off, they've had to bend it and everything, which basically makes it useless.
Yeah, it's gone.
it's gone.
Defunct. And
It's gone.
sadly, Will managed to break the roof light after they'd taken it out really carefully as well, so we can't even sell that.
Yeah. So this is basically all spend and no return on this particular trip.
It's very sad.
If you want to know how much this lot cost us, total bill for today, and no, we don't get discount off grid or any kind of special like YouTube thing or anything like that. Don't get any of that stuff here. We pay full whack. £1,320, I think it is,
Yeah.
for this lot here. So basically, you've got a full day's labour there. You've got all of the materials. We've bought a Maxxfan in that.
Does that include the cost
that
of all those new solar panels as well?
It doesn't include the cost of the actual
shouldn't
solar
have asked.
panels, because they were about another 350 on top of that.
Okay.
So this is not a cheap business doing this, but the solar was kind of our own fault because we were so keen to get it on the van, and obviously we had to tear the one that we had
didn't
off.
think it through
Didn't think it through.
as to what we might want in 18 months.
Correct.
Oh well.
But big thank you to the guys at Off Grid. Treat us really well. They don't
Yeah.
mind you getting involved if you want to.
They say
you know.
they don't, but you know, maybe it was through gritted teeth. Will trying to be involved. I don't know. They looked happy.
There was a few times where Rog asked me to pass him something and I seemed to pick the right thing, and he kind of gave me a bit of a smile. So maybe that's helping. I don't know.
There was no shouting or screaming.
there was no-
or get out of the way or anything.
So we're staying here tonight because the Sikaflex ideally takes 24 hours to dry. And the last thing we want to do is fly up the M1 now on the way home, 70 mile an hour, and then some solar panels come flying off the roof.
Or the Maxxfan.
Or the Maxxfan,
Yeah.
definitely not a good idea. So we're going to stay here tonight as well, in the lovely field they've got here, right next to the barn. And that means by tomorrow morning / lunchtime, everything will be sorted, because they did try really hard to do all the Sikaflexing first thing on the van today. So
Yeah.
they know we're going to get away tomorrow. And I think we might go to Busfest tomorrow.
Oh, that'd be fun.
So yeah, why not? So yeah, all done, all sorted. Hopefully you found this video helpful, just in terms of the kind of things that you can do to your van and the things that Off-Grid can offer you as well. Hopefully it's been helpful. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon for some more
Campervan time.